There's a silent war every man is fighting, not with words, not with fists, but within, in the space where his confidence should reside. It's the war of insecurity, and the battlefield. Every interaction, every glance, every moment he's near a woman he desires. Most men never acknowledge this fight. They bury it with bravado, designer cologne, or a mask of indifference. But women, they sense the truth. They feel that insecurity, and nothing repels them faster. But what if I told you that what you think is your biggest weakness could become your greatest power? See, the world of seduction isn't built on lines, tricks, or fake charm. It's built on self-mastery, and at the heart of mastery is one mission: destroy insecurity and reveal your unapologetic, magnetic masculinity. Neil Strauss didn't just write about pickup tactics in the game. What made his story compelling was the inner shift from a man full of self-doubt to someone who commanded attention, not with arrogance, but grounded certainty. And that's what you'll learn here. Because when you crush insecurity, you don't just attract women, you attract women who respect, desire, and choose you without hesitation. Let's dig deep. Why does insecurity even exist? It's not random. It's not just from childhood or rejection in school. It's because, like most men, no one taught you how to build inner certainty. Society taught you to chase validation, the job, the car, the money. But it never showed you how to be solid inside. Every time you see a beautiful woman and freeze, that's not weakness. That's untrained energy. It's raw power buried under fear. You don't need to become someone new. You need to unleash the king already inside you. And that begins not with fake confidence, but with rebuilding your beliefs from within. Mystery, the pickup artist Neil Strauss followed, said it best: attraction isn't a choice. A woman doesn't logically decide, yes, I like him. She responds emotionally, instinctively, and insecurity destroys that response instantly. If you walk up to her with shaky energy, nervous eyes, or overcompensating smiles, her instincts scream, this man isn't grounded. Why should I trust him? But here's the twist. You don't have to be perfect to be attractive. You just have to own your imperfection like it's your edge. Think James Bond, Tyler Durden, even real life seducers like Casanova. None of them begged for approval. They didn't chase, they had presence, and that presence comes from inner certainty. So how do you build that? Step 1, end your addiction to validation. Most guys enter a room thinking, I hope they like me. That's insecurity in disguise. A powerful man walks in thinking, who here is interesting enough to deserve my attention? That's not arrogance. That's standards, that's knowing your worth. You can't fake that. You have to feel it, and here's how. Step 2, kill comparison. Every time you compare yourself, his looks, his money, his height, you surrender your power. Comparison is insecurity's favorite fuel. Instead, focus on identity creation. Who are you becoming? How does the most grounded version of you walk, speak, decide? Get obsessed not with others, but with building that version of yourself. Step 3, rewrite your inner voice. Insecure men speak to themselves in ways they'd never speak to a friend. If your best friend talked to you the way you talk to yourself, you'd cut him off. You need to become your own ally. When that voice says you're not good enough, respond with, maybe not yet, but I'm building a savage. Confidence isn't the absence of fear. It's moving through fear. Every master of attraction has felt fear, but they leaned in. And here's a secret. Women aren't drawn to men who feel no fear. They're drawn to men who can handle it. When you show her that you can stand steady in discomfort, socially, emotionally, sexually, it turns her on. It signals leadership. Step 4, build reference experiences. You need real life moments where you prove to yourself you can face pressure and grow stronger. These moments stack. They become the bricks of your self-belief. If you keep hiding, avoiding, retreating, you're robbing yourself of the material that builds confidence. Neil Strauss didn't just learn to talk to women. He jumped into the fire, rejection, awkwardness, high stakes, and every time he walked through it, he became more solid. You can do the same, but you have to commit. You have to say, no more hiding, I will become the man who leads. Because here's what most men miss. Women don't just want attraction. They want direction. They want to feel your groundedness, your vision, your unshakable sense of self. Insecurity screams, I don't know who I am, and if you don't know, how is she supposed to feel safe with you? Attraction starts with polarity. Masculine energy leads, it decides. Feminine energy flows and feels. If you collapse into insecurity, you lose that polarity, and she loses interest. But when you step into your power calmly, quietly, consistently, you create magnetic tension. Here's where most men screw up. They try to prove something. They try to prove they're alpha, that they're worthy. That they're the guy. You don't need to prove anything. You need to become the man who no longer questions it. That changes everything. One major mistake insecure men make, being too nice. They think being agreeable and soft wins her heart. But niceness isn't what creates attraction. Being safe isn't the same as being desirable. What turns her on is a man with standards. The man who knows what he wants, who walks away when something doesn't align. She'll test you, not because she's cruel, but because it's instinct. She needs to know, is this man solid or will he fold? If you cave, change your views, avoid tension, she feels it. And the spark dies. Strong men use tension, they don't fear it. Feminine energy wants to feel a masculine container, a man who stays steady even when she's emotional. You don't build that in a day. You build it by showing up to life directly, speaking your truth, owning your decisions, and living with purpose, not permission. Purpose is another key. A man without purpose is a man women can't respect. If your life revolves around pleasing her, you lose your edge. Women don't want to be your purpose. They want to orbit a man who already has one. When you're locked into your mission, building something real, that's magnetic. But if she senses she's your source of identity, the attraction fades. And here's the paradox. The less you need her, the more she wants you. Not because you're cold, but because you're whole. Your confidence, peace, fulfillment, none of it depends on her. That's what makes you powerful, not how many women you attract, but how centered you remain regardless. Because here's the truth, you will be rejected, ghosted, misunderstood. The insecure man spirals, he makes it personal. But the secure man sees it differently. Sometimes it's timing, sometimes it's not a match, that's okay. His worth isn't tied to outcomes, it's tied to who he's becoming. That kind of power isn't loud, it's felt. The most grounded men often say less but command more. Their certainty speaks in silence, but insecurity isn't just behavior. It's energy. You can say the right words, wear the right clothes, hit the gym, but if your energy is tense or needy, she feels it. Women are deeply intuitive. They read the micro signals, eye contact, breathing, timing. They know if you're in your head or present in your body. That's why it's not about outer game. It's about alignment. Want to be magnetic? Get out of your head. Drop into your body. Feel the ground beneath your feet. Breathe slower. Speak from presence, not panic. This is what charismatic men do differently. They hold eye contact, silence, their frame. That stillness is electric. It says, I can handle you, I won't collapse. That's where real attraction begins, not in lines or manipulation, but embodied energy. So stop obsessing over women. Start becoming the man they're drawn to naturally. Because seduction isn't something you do. It's something you are. And when you become that man, confident, directed, unapologetic, the world responds. You walk in and people feel it. You speak and they listen. You touch and it lingers. That's not fantasy. That's what happens when you crush insecurity at the root. Let's go even deeper. Insecurity leads to control. When a man feels insecure, he tries to control outcomes, her interest, her replies, her reactions. He overanalyzes every text, every silence, every look. But pressure kills attraction. She doesn't want to feel managed. She wants to feel led. The irony, the more you try to shape how she sees you, the less real you become. And the less real you are, the less she trusts you. So stop hiding, stop filtering, shift from control. To trust yourself, trust your instinct, trust that who you are is enough. That shift is where real confidence is born. It changes how you handle tension. Insecure men flee from tension, but the best seducers create it. They hold pauses, they tease, they challenge, they let moments breathe, because seduction lives in uncertainty, in that delicious tension of what now. Women crave that rhythm. Not chaos, but emotion, movement, and to master that rhythm, you need emotional control, not suppression. Not numbness, awareness, choice, response. You feel nervous, own it, triggered, don't react, breathe. Feel insecure, acknowledge it, but don't collapse. Masculine energy isn't robotic, it's rooted in motion. When you pair presence with emotional intelligence, you create lasting attraction. Now let's talk about the final layer, sexual energy. Most men carry shame around desire. They've been told it's dangerous, that being turned on makes them a creep. So, they suppress it, they hide it, they become passive. But feminine energy wants to feel desired, not in desperation, in direct, confident containment. I want you, but I don't need you. That energy lights fires, but only when your desire is free of shame. When you can look her in the eye and your body says everything without words. This is what David Data calls the masculine gift. Your depth, your clarity, your desire offered with no expectation. Insecurity kills that gift. It makes your desire heavy. But when you release outcome, your energy becomes light. Playful, powerful, she feels that, she's drawn to it, because you're not trying to take your offering. That's real power, and it's not arrogance. It's reverence for yourself, for her, for the dance. So here's the truth. You don't attract the woman you want by chasing her. You attract her by becoming the man she can't ignore, not by copying others, not by trying to impress, but by owning your presence, crushing your insecurity, becoming who you were always meant to be, a man who leads, who knows his worth, who walks through fear anyway. That man isn't born, he's built. And if you've read this far, that man is already waking up inside you. Now it's time to rise.